All right, welcome back. I told you the last video I wasn't going to show you what I was doing, and now I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I spent a small fortune yesterday at a electrical supply house and got a bunch of conduit, a bunch of wire, some more bunch of wire, and we're wiring some disconnects, wiring some plugs, and we're just really cleaning the place up and getting ready for some badass equipment that we're going to be getting here at Nicky Bobby Inc. And I'm really excited about it. Hope you guys are excited too. Let me show you what I got. So what we got is some 2-gauge wire, we've got some 6-gauge wire, and we've got some 10-gauge wire. We got some 2-inch conduit, we got some 3/4-inch conduit. And what I'm doing is basically taking all this stuff, moving it. The CNC, the drill press, and the mill are going to now go over there where our welding area is. Our new welding area is going to be right here because we're going to do 16 foot of weld tables. And then right here, we're going to have our big manual press brake, our CNC, our Titan, Langmuir Titan T25 CNC press brake. Then here, we're going to have a big old 5x10 fiber laser. And then here, we're going to have a bunch of metal supply. And then here, we're going to have a powder coating booth and a powder coating oven. Yeah, so that means we're going to be cutting, bending, welding, and powder coating all of our parts in-house for now on. And we're even going to be extending the building out back, but that's later down the road. For now, we got to get making parts. So all of our S10 kits, all of our G-body stuff, everything we do now will be made in-house, cut, bent, welded, powder coated, whatever, all right here in Boonville, Arkansas. And I don't have enough power supply right now, so I got to run a 3-phase 240 volt over here. We're getting a screw compressor, and then we're gonna have a disconnect for that. We're gonna have to have a 100 amp disconnect here for the fiber laser. We're getting a transformer put over here. I'm running 3-phase over here for our mill, our drill press, and then our CNC only takes 110 volt. And then I'm also running new plugs down for where the weld station is going to be and where our CNC press breaker are going to be. And yeah, we're really stepping it up a notch here. We're going to be taking this table down, moving it over this way, long way, right off the end of the stairs. So Karina has a big U-shaped work area. And then here is going to be more open for, I think, recycling bins. And we're going to get a bunch more of these carts so that way finished powder coat pieces can be put over here for Karina to package. Court's going to learn how to run a laser and a press brake. So he's going to be lasering, welding, bending, all of it. And our shop is going to totally transform in the next few weeks. But we're really excited about it. I'm really excited about it. Obviously, it's a big initial investment, but we're playing a long game here. And if we want to keep growing at the rate we're growing, then we got to get the right equipment. And we got to be a little bit more self-reliant. So this is the next step towards it. And I'm just super excited. I have no idea what I'm doing half the time, but we're figuring out as we go. Thanks to Chuck's Metal Buildings, my buddy Ray Parsons, he's let me use his lift again. I'm pretty sure I use this lift more than he does, but we're gonna get some work done on this place and we're gonna transform it and we're gonna start making badass parts made right here in the USA. Today's a big day, boys. Groot, are you excited? Quartz and all. Today is one of the biggest days in NBI history. We got CNC press brakes. We're getting alarm systems. We're getting new electrical over here. I mean, I don't know what else you could do to get any better. Today, I didn't even expect today to be as good as it is. So we're gonna open our new Christmas present. And I've heard a lot of stuff about how these get damaged in shipping, but ours looks brand new, so. Our shipping guy was freaking professional. He yanked this thing out of there like it was nothing. He even let us use his lift gate. We're supposed to have our own forklift, but ours was dead because I haven't wired up our charger yet. So we're gonna unbox it and see if we got any leaks. And then we're gonna charge our forklift so we can actually move it. Huh. All right, boys and girls, as you can see, there's been a crap ton of work getting done here. We have completely rearranged this whole side of the shop. We've got all our stuff stacked over here. We've got all of our actual automotive parts and tools moved into the smaller shop. This side of the shop is getting ready to get really manufacturer production based. It's just gonna try to make it, the new term I've learned is lean. Try to make it lean, whatever they call that. Try to make it to where it's as organized, as clean, and as laid out as possible. We actually have to bring my laser in through this front window because it will not fit in anywhere else in the building. So we're taking that front window out on Tuesday morning to get the laser in. But we've got the powder coat oven set up. I got my conduit ran for that. All my conduits ran over for our compressor and for the transformer for the laser. I also got a sub panel put over there that runs over for a plug for the new Titan T25 CNC press brake we got. And I also got another ran over there for our mill and drill press. We got the bed set back on the S10. It looks pretty spiffy. We got everything shoved in that corner so that way we have all the room we can to get the laser in. So I'm actually finally getting ready to start pulling wire. I've got a whole lot of 2-gauge wire that I'm going to be running for the compressor and the laser. They're both 3-phase. They both pull, the laser pulls like 65 amps on 3-phase. So I've got to run big old wire. So that's honestly, I don't think that one's going to be the hardest one because I ran 2-inch conduit, but I have to pull some 6-gauge wire through 3/4 conduit, so hopefully that's not too hard. But I've never pulled wire this far before. I know sometimes I've done it before where I put the wire in the conduit before when I'm just running stuff for lights and then I'll just hang it, but I didn't have that luxury this time. So I'm gonna Google and YouTube how to do it the right way. Obviously pull this wire. My panel still has power over there, so I don't want to be messing with the panel while it has power, but I don't want to be trying to pull all this wire in the dark. So I also want to pull, I don't know if it's even feasible to pull all 3 of those 2-gauge wires at once. So I'm going to try to figure out how exactly I'm going to do that. I had to run a couple of sub panels because I can't use all of my breaker spots on my panel here because we have 3-phase and we have what you call stinger leg. So stinger leg is like 40 to 50 volts more than what a normal leg of power is. So say you have 120, well, you might have 160 to 190, 160 to 190 volts on that one leg of power instead of 120 volts. So you can run a 240 machine with a stinger leg, but if that 240 machine takes a leg of your 120 and powers a circuit board or something in there, and that board accidentally gets the stinger leg, it fries it, and I don't want to take any chances. So any of my new stuff, I don't know if some of those boards use 120 or whatever, so that stinger leg, I'm trying to leave all those open. Obviously the older machines, the older 3-phase machines, anything 3-phase can use the stinger leg. Other than that, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I got to do a lot of Googling, a lot of YouTubing. But Karina, Court, they've both been working really hard. I've been working really hard. Again, my buddy Ray let me use his lift. He's got a lull over here. He's going to be helping me get the actual machine through the window. So he's going to be taking off his own business on Tuesday just to help me. So appreciate that. And yeah, I'm going to get to work. Stay tuned. Okay, we're interrupting this message because I just had to chase this bird and save its life from Aftershock, the killer cat, because apparently he was a major killer back when he lived in Mississippi, but I haven't seen him kill anything. But I have found a few dead birds. I heard this bird trying to escape, and I literally had to chase the bird and wait for the bird to fall because he kept trying to go out the window and hitting it. The Aftershock, the cat was chasing him, trying to pounce on him. I was trying to keep the cat away and catch the bird. It looks like the bird's beak is bleeding a little bit, but I think he's gonna be okay. So I'm gonna release him back outside. Hey, I saved a bird.
Where?
It was in here. The cat was trying to kill him. Yeah, that's my good deed for today. Back to working.
Racing to the finish line, seatbelt, fast whips, got a win in mind. See me when I skirt off, ain't no 10 in mine. Friends keep saying slow down, should've seen the signs. Riding down this dirt road, where we going, I don't know. God, please protect me, I'm halfway home. Take the wheel right now, I let go. Thinking about the ones I let go. I thought by now you forgive me. No, it's not easy forgiving. Found a new reason for living. Naysayers making noise, all I hear them say. Bad cards all the time. Took the hand I was dealt, gotta let it shine. What? Yeah. Tell me where to sign. I'll give it all away for some peace of mind. Cause life fading slowly. They got a second chance waiting for it. And disbelief we ain't been living holy. And disbelief we ain't been living holy. I thought by now you forgive me. No, it's not easy forgiving. Found a new reason for living. Naysayers making noise, all I hear them say. He say, she say, they say. He say, she say, they say. Not my way, it's your way. It's not my way, it's your way. That's all I hear him say. That's all I hear him say.
All right, big day today. We're getting a freaking laser beam, and we got all kinds of stuff delivered yesterday from Uline, so that way we can try to make our manufacturing process as organized as possible. And I know that's not a word you hear much around here, but we're gonna try to get better. Look at this. We got suction cups on the front window. We're getting ready to try to take it out without shattering it. Court said he could lift it by himself, but I don't believe it. So we're gonna try to take this trim off, and then we're gonna get our buddy Ray over here. He's gonna bring a bunch of equipment, and then our laser people are gonna drop off all of our equipment. We're gonna try to put it through that front window, because that's the only opening big enough that we have to get it where we need it, because that opening right there is not big enough, and none of those back there are big enough. So we're gonna get creative and see what we can do. Ray's like a freaking surgeon with this wool. Yeah, buddy. That was way easier than I thought it was gonna be. Although it probably looks a lot easier than it actually was. I will say we got pretty creative with jack stands and forklifts. Thank goodness Ray has a whole arsenal of boom lulls, whatever you want to call them. Now he's just gonna take a stroll around town. Ray's like a surgeon with that thing. We did break the glass getting it out though, but that's okay. Nobody got cut, nobody died, and everything is now inside the building. So thanks for your guys' help. We got our compressor, big boy compressor. We got our fiber laser. We got our I think that's a transformer and part of the chiller. Then we have another part of the chiller back here. And I wish you guys could have seen us get this through that hole right there. It was literally touching on both sides, but it went through.
to the finish line. Seatbelt, fast whips, got a win in mind. See me when I skirt off, ain't no 10 in mine. Friends keep saying slow down, should've seen the signs. Riding down this dirt road, where we going, I don't know. God, please protect me, I'm halfway home. Take the wheel right now, I let go. Thinking about the ones to let go. I thought by now you forgive me. No, it's not easy forgiving. Found a new reason for living. Naysayers making noise, all I hear them say. Bad cards all the time. Took the hand I was dealt, gotta let it shine. What? Yeah. Tell me where to sign. I will give it all away for some peace of mind. Cause life fading slowly. They got a second chance waiting for me. In disbelief, we ain't been living holy. In disbelief, we ain't been living holy. I thought by now you forgive me. No, it's not easy forgiving. Found a new reason for living.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed watching us completely remake the shop, completely I was gonna say overhaul, but it's kind of a lame word. Completely give the shop a makeover, because we've done more in probably the past month than I think we've done since I've been here. So I'm gonna give you a walk around tour. You kind of watch the whole thing go down, but we're almost up and running to where we're just waiting for them to come hook up the compressor and hook up the laser to where we can actually start producing parts. We got our powder coat oven booth done, or powder coat spray booth done, and our oven hooked up last night and running. We tested it, and we're actually getting ready to powder coat our first parts right now. So I'm gonna walk you around, give you the gist, the idea of what we did and why we did it, and then that'll be the end of this video, because it's probably been a lot of time lapses, but I'll give you the grand tour and then you're out of here. Okay, for starters, Karina still has a mess over here. I'm just kidding. She said, where is my... No, I'm just kidding. Don't worry, we're getting to the good part. But we have every car that we own stuffed over here in this side of the shop. We have the Malibu Tour part. We're going to be powder coating the cold side, the compressor housings, all that good stuff for the Malibu. It's going to be our first actual job. But this isn't what you want to see over here. We got some tire marks from getting the SkyTrack through here, but that's okay. So we'll start right here. If you notice, these and the CNC machine used to be all the way over there, but now we ran 3-phase all the way over to here. I'm gonna start by telling you guys exactly what kind of power I ran here. And because Arkansas has a stinger leg on its 3-phase, I don't know if everywhere does or not, but I know for a fact Arkansas does. It actually takes up a lot of my circuit panel, my breaker panel, that I can't actually use. So you'll see every third breaker is a stinger leg. So instead of that having 120 volts, that has like 200 volts. For 3-phase, it's totally fine. Even for 220, it's fine, as long as something inside your machine doesn't take one of those 220 legs and use it for a 120 leg, it'll burn it up. So that's why I didn't even chance it. I ran a sub panel and another sub panel and all that. But I'm getting way off track because I've done so much. It's hard not to tell you about every single thing I've done. And Groot's gonna follow me the whole time because he has a sixth sense to know when the camera's running. But back to it. So first things first, I ran some big 2-inch conduit all the way up and over down for our compressor over there. That is a 35 amp disconnect, and that's all he said he needs for that. And then I ran a 70 amp disconnect down for our laser, which is gonna go there because we've got a transformer and all that stuff, but we set it up like that for a reason, whatever. That's that conduit. Then I ran a sub panel here and ran a big breaker over for our oven. I also came off of this box over here and ran power down to power up all our 120 stuff in our booth. Going on, this sub panel actually runs over all the way down to another sub panel over here where we're going to have our welder now. So we got another sub panel here and a plug for our welder. Come off this sub panel, that breaker goes all the way over down to here. That's for our new Titan CNC press brake. Pretty cool. You saw a lot of Karina putting it together, all that good stuff. It takes forever to boot up, whatever. Then I also ran a run all the way down and over, and this is a 3-phase run, down to here, and then we come out of this box with 2 flex lines and hook to our 3-phase. So we finally have these things running. Check this out. I actually need to run this one. I need to flip 2 of the phases because forward is actually counterclockwise. So a 3-phase, you just flip 2 of the legs and Bob's your uncle. This, we got this one right. Check that bad boy out. Finally have my own working mill, which is awesome. We just got to get this stuff cleaned up. But that's it for that. That wiring took me what felt like a month, but actually I think it took around a week and a half, 2 weeks. Because once I ran all the conduit, then I had to pull all the wires. And I'm not talking about pulling some 10 gauge wires. I'm talking about pulling some 2 gauge wires. Luckily, I planned it out good enough and had I put a junction box here so I could take the actual box apart, and I was able to take the top of that 90 up there apart, and we were able to pull everything and get it done. And we actually pulled all the wires and wired pretty much all of the outlets and disconnects all in a day. But it was we were getting after it. So Karina and Court did really good. They're not over here right now, but they did really good in helping me. They were feeding wire and lubing it while I was pulling it, and we pre-measured everything out and cut it all before we pulled it, and luckily I had just enough wire. So that was like almost, by the time I was done, I think I had $4,000 in conduit, wiring, boxes, breakers, sub panels, and the breakers. So $4,000 seems like a lot of money, but if you probably would have paid an electrician, going off what I know people have paid, this probably would have been $25,000 or $30,000. So I'm really glad that we wired it all ourselves. And shout out to my buddy Ray Parsons at Chuck's Metal Buildings, again, for giving me a lift that I used for like a month. And now Alex has had it for like a month. He's basically just sponsoring us a scissor lift to get our buildings done because he likes seeing people do good and he likes helping people. So appreciate it, Ray. Now, moving on. I'm going to tell you about what we think is going to be the right workflow for this shop. Whether it is or not, I have no idea. You can see our table's not here anymore. We moved it, but I'm going to start right here. So we're going to have these sheets that come in on a big skid. We're going to pull them in right here. We're going to pull them off, lift them up, back up, set them on here. This is 1/4 inch, 3/16 and 1/8 inch. I'm actually going to run a cross brace because I think once I start stacking more on here, they're going to sag more. I thought they'd be okay. They won't. As you'll see, Court built this big cantilever rack setup. We put some pool noodles on it so that way we're not going to stab our eyes out or anything. So that's that. Got our cantilever set up, got this set up, and we got magnets also that are going to go on our forks. So we can just take our forks, go up here, set the magnets down, turn the magnets on, lift this up. Then we're going to walk back, and then obviously this will be homed and this will be swung out, but we can roll over, set our sheets of metal right down on here. Literally just pick them up here, set them down on there. This thing has rollers if you don't get it quite right. Rollers, you can roll the sheet on here. So then all of our cut parts are going to be here. We're going to have the chiller, we're going to have an exhaust fan, all that stuff down here, but we're going to have some scrap bins down here that we can pull the parts out and put them in the scrap bins. And then we have our CNC press brake here, and we're still working on building our manual press brake. So our manual press brake will go here, CNC press brake will go here. So sheets come in, parts get bent, or parts get cut, parts will get bent, and then we're gonna have some shelving here to store all the bent parts. And then we're gonna have, one of the first things I wanna cut is 2 8-foot weld tables. So we'll have 16 foot of weld table here. That's why I put our welder plug right here. So we'll have this whole welding station set up. We're gonna have some shelves here, some shelves here. So then we'll have shelves for bent parts or cut parts and bent parts. Then we'll have shelves for parts that need welded, parts that are welded. And then once they get welded here, I know I wanted to make it flow evenly, but it just wasn't in the cards. Once they come here, they're gonna go down. They're either gonna go straight to shipping, or they're gonna go down and they're gonna get powder coated. Now I'm working on finding a blast cabinet that I can put right here so that way we can sandblast, powder coat. Then we're gonna have some, I don't know what we're gonna do with shelves right here, but once they're powder coated, they'll hang here, cure, whatever, harden up, and then come over here. We have a bunch of U-line stuff that is now color coded. I don't know what colors are gonna go to what, but one color is gonna be parts that need bent, one parts that need welded, parts that need powder coated, parts that are ready for shipping. And this is all Karina's department. But we're trying to work on having a more efficient labeling, shipping system that just moves everywhere. Bought a bunch of new carts. We moved our table over to here, Court welded legs on it. And now she has a whole kind of U-shaped work area to where she just has to turn around, work places. Something else that I watched on Peterson Work Holding, they said U-shaped work areas are the most efficient. So now you got one big U shape. So this is Karina's area. And then obviously we had to move the mill and the the mill, the drill press, and the CNC somewhere. And I still want to keep this as somewhat as the fab area. So we moved all this over here. CNC is now up here, and this will still be kind of the fab area because the weld tables will be right here, and this will be Quartz domain. So yeah, parts come in, they get cut, they get bent, they get welded, powder coated, go to Karina, get shipped out.
Yeehaw.
Oh, I stopped it. Karina says yeehaw twice, and I've screwed up the video. Say it again.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. So we're really getting after it. We've been working really hard. We've been slow the past few days because we're literally just waiting for these people to come wire up and train us on our stupid lasers so we can start making these parts. By the way, the pre-sale is live for all the S10 parts and all that good stuff. We are getting some more carts for our Yes welders so that way we can really get those set up for major production. Yeah, figuring out the rest of the workflow and figuring out where a lot of our shelves are going to go. That still has to be done, but I don't want to place anything anywhere until they get, because they have to make the connections from the disconnect to their transformers and the laser. So I don't want to put anything in their way. So we're kind of just waiting on them. The guys at Best Cutter have been really good. I hit them up. I was actually asking them about buying a used machine, and they said, "Oh, we'll sell you a bigger used one for that same price." And then I was like, "Well, I need it like now." And he's like, "Oh, okay." Called me back a couple days later. He's like, "I'll give you a new one for that same price just because I want to help you out." So shout out to Best Cutter. I got a 1-year warranty on all the parts, 2-day training, free delivery, free setup, free all that. So I got the big bad high pressure compressor. We got the chiller, the exhaust fan, transformers, all that good stuff. So again, just waiting for them to come set it up and train us. And then we'll kind of finalize where all of our shelves, we'll finalize where all our shelves and all that stuff's going to go, because we'll actually be working and flowing with stuff. So yeah, the only thing we have left to do now is finish our big press brake that we have to make the frame for and get our stuff set up. So that's it. Next video will be me powder coating our first real parts.